Hello, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm your host, Hygiene, and today's the third part of the ABCs of the Big D, which is C, and it's going to stand for courage. Now, last show we left off at discussing denial and how it affects us. So today we're going to kind of like start off with that article from mayoclinic.org. But I really want to emphasize on courage. Okay? Courage is a very important factor as well without it being aware or being with, it's a very important factor because being aware and being true to yourself won't even matter. Okay? This is the backbone which you will be building of, your mental foundation, basically, to take on your difficult situations throughout life. Okay? So without courage, awareness, right, which was A, and B, which was be true to yourself and beware of denial, right? Well, none of those even matter without you having the courage, right? Because courage is a very important factor. Okay. And it's the whole reason why, like I said before, like I said at the beginning of every show, it's the whole reason why I'm doing this, okay? Because I suffer from depression myself, and as well, how much again? 300 million people, right? Who are living with some type of form of depression, and only 10% are being treated. Remember that, right? Right? Y'all remember that, right? Okay. So I've been saying that every show, right? And 800,000 die from suicide a year. That's the average, and it's moving up. It's moving up and not down. Okay? It's moving up and not down. Now, courage is needed for awareness and to be true to yourself because you need the courage to acknowledge the problem, then admit to yourself that you have a problem, then express that you have a problem, and then seek help from a stranger or loved ones. Okay? Now, that takes courage, right? Now, I know that takes courage, right? Especially for men, because we don't like to show forms of weakness, as well as people who really care about their social status, right, and the social structure things that go on. And since depression can only be treated and not cured, we must be consistent throughout life. So right now, what we're doing is we're programming ourselves, right? We're programming ourselves with the mental tools and strategies, okay, to have healthy habits for part of our mental lifestyle. So this is what we're changing. So that's the whole reason why of being aware and then being true to yourself and have the courage to understand that you know what's going on, that you have this problem, and you're trying to make these tools because, like I said, throughout life, life is full of ups and downs. You know, we all live and we all die, right? So there's always going to be some type of emotional things going on into your life. So we are making ourselves capable of understanding these emotions and making sure that we have the necessary tools, mental tools to handle ourselves and to know when these things are happening. Because remember, the whole thing is what I said. The main thing, the first thing is being aware. Then you have to be true to yourself, right? To understand that whatever the problem is, that you have this problem, right? And then you might go into denial in a little bit, which we're going to talk about, and then realize that, okay, well, I do have a problem, and you have the courage to accept that you have that problem. Then you have to have the courage to attack and treat that problem. So that's why courage is so important, because the other two wouldn't work without that one, because the other two would mean nothing if you don't take action. And then to take action, you have to have courage. That means you're taking a stand. So to take the stand, you have to have courage. Okay? And like I said, you have to admit, to yourself and sometimes to the world and to others for you to help yourself and to heal. Because by nature, this is who we are. We're you know some work well by themselves, but we're sometimes two pack animals, like in groups and everything. And sometimes we miss things because we're biased. Okay, we miss things because we're human beings. We bias. We want things to be the way, and we like things one way. But when things 1 plus 1 is only 2, So when you get in those situations where 1 plus 1 is only two, you really can't be biased because it's only one outcome. Okay. So but remember, we are doing these things because um depression cannot be cured, it can only be treated. So we are making sure that we mentally and physically understand, what depression is, what it causes, what are the warning signs, and we have been building these tools through these 3 episodes of the ABCs of the Big D to give ourselves these mental tools to help us throughout life. Because once we learn these methods, these are something that we are supposed to be practicing throughout life, right? Because life is up and down. Okay. And not only sometimes depression is sad, sometimes you get depression off of being upset for things that are not going right. So it's, we have to understand how, when we see these things, how to deal with them. And this is what we're doing. We're changing our lifestyle, our mental lifestyle. Now, remember, we have to work out our mind and body for a long and healthy life. Okay. So this is what we're doing. The body can be fit, but if the mind is not right, there's no inner peace, right? There's no inner peace of self. And that's the whole thing that we're looking for, especially when you're depressed. Like there's problems, but you're trying to figure out how to be a problem solver without letting depression and these emotional feelings take hold of us to where they stop us physically and mentally, right? Okay, which a lot of depression is seeded from we forget to exercise the mind and clear it. Okay. So when we're trying to exercise the mind and clear it out from time to time, we need to do things like meditate, right? Walk, exercise. There's hobbies, listen to music, do anything that makes you forget about everything else when you're doing that thing. Okay, another word they call it in school, in my school class. They used to call it also psychology of play. You can look that up. All right, and then give you a little bit more input on this technique that we're talking about right here. Right. So then it release negative energy and hostility with kinetic movements. Okay. And to like just how you burn calories, you can burn tension and let the tension escape through your body through body heat. Okay, so I don't know a lot of people if you understand this. They used to talk about when you get mad in arguments. Oh man, you get so mad you might have a stroke, you might have a heart attack. Because some people will get mad. I used to get mad and get real hot. At one point in time when I had high blood pressure, get real hot, start sweating and everything, and get upset. Like when you get upset, like you really get mad, and your body, you build up a lot of heat, right? So instead of you taking that force and yelling and all that, if you're a boxer or you got a gym, you can go hit the punching bag. You can go jog. You can do some calisthenics. You can do some sit-ups. You can do some push-ups. You can go for a walk. You can go for a jog. You can go for a bike ride. Okay, these are all things that help get out, especially negative energy like hostility, the anger, you know, upsetness, and then sometimes because it also relaxes your muscles, and then it also you get endorphins and everything going. You get those get good chemicals coming through your body, which also will help you think clearer as you it'll help you calm down, right? Because it's also a form of meditation. And these are all factors of releasing stress. So, like if you have stress related depression, and then also if you don't have stress related depression, it helps you get your mind off of what you're thinking about. Because for one, when you're depressed, that means you're constantly thinking about whatever it is that's making you sad. So the number one main trick is the art of misdirection. So you can understand the concept in layman's terms is just you're making the mind focus on something else, right? But then when you do the exercise and everything, you go outside, seeing when you go outside, like your mind is also being aware of its surroundings. And then you focus on your body because your body is working out. And then it might be a nice day. Then you start looking at the scenery. So you still might be thinking about what you're thinking about, but it kind of makes it easier and it kind of opens up your mind because your lungs open up, your blood starts flowing, your body starts relaxing. Because also when you're depressed and you're upset, you get real tense, right? You get real tense and down on yourself. So just remember, all these things help you, you know, relieve the stress. Okay. It helps you not think about other things. The hobbies help you not think about other things. And like I said, this concept is called psychology of play. It's like your kids are people like if you ever really do something that you really like, okay, let that be dancing, playing video games, drawing, sewing, programming, whatever. When you start to do that thing, right, you forget about everything else and you only concentrate on that thing because that's what you love, that's what you're into, right? You start making music and then all of a sudden, you go, oh, wow, 3 hours went by, right? So that's the whole thing of psychology of play because you're more motivated by almost what they call self gratification because it's what you're doing. Like they actually did a study with that compared to people, going against for self gratification, turning it into a game, a goal, and for money, at work. And then even in the street, like they made like a little game out of people picking up their dog poop and making a little slot machine out of it. And it made people want to go pick up the poop more and put it in the slot machine. Or turning the stairs and painting them like piano keys made the people want to take the stairs more. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes we're being trained or into doing things to where you're not even being trained, and which you can use that as the well. I think I'm gonna use that as the next episode too. How we're subliminally trained from the time that we're seedlings, meaning kids, to adults, and we start getting trained psychologically through the toys that's made for us, and to start the social structure of what a man what a male is supposed to be and what a female is supposed to be. All right. So, but now, back to denial though. So to get started, so we can finish get into that study. Now, denial is an emotion to actually help you, like fear. Okay, I don't know if you guys understand it. If you guys listen to the, I think I was talking about fear in the last episode. Now, it's something to help you assess the situation at hand and problem solve. Okay, so denial is like, oh, like when you can't believe something, like it's no, really, that came action. Then you're supposed to be like, huh? Then you're supposed to sit down and think about it and be like, well, wait a minute, well, can that actually happen? What's going on? Just like kind of like fear is an awareness, let you know, okay, hey, hold on, there's danger around. Okay, now the article we're looking um, at this from the Mayo Clinic, right? So it's the mayoclinic.org, MAYOCLINIC.org. Okay. The article, let me give you the date on this article because I read it the other day and then tell you this article was written in April 9th of 2020. So it's a pretty recent article. Okay. So, and it says denial when it helps and when it hurts. Okay. Denial is a coping mechanism that gives you time to adjust to distressing situations. But staying in denial can interfere with treatment or your ability to tackle challenges. Okay, so pretty much basically what we just said, right? See, denial is a coping mechanism that gives you the time to adjust to distressing situations. Okay. All right, so if you're in denial, you're trying to protect yourself by refusing to accept the truth about something that's happening in your life. In some cases, initial short term denial can be a good thing, giving you time to adjust to a painful, stressful issue. Okay. Now, y'all make sure you guys understand that. And that's the good part about it. Like we were just saying, to make you adjust, to make you assess the situation, like I was just talking about in plain terms. All right. It might also be a precursor to making some sort of change in your life. Okay. But denial has a dark side. Find out when denial is unhealthy and how to move past it. Okay. So it's letting you know right then and there that you can take a positive from a negative, because in the end, it's all about analyzing, right? And we have to, in the end, learn how to analyze things for what they are and not let them emotionally affect our lifestyle and the way that we live. I don't know if you cannot, if you're following me, right? So that is something, that that we have to really pay attention to. Like I said, we have to be aware. Okay, you have to be real conscious and aware. Okay, about the rabbit holes that we fall down. Okay. Now, understanding denial and its purpose. Refusing to acknowledge that something is wrong is a way of coping with emotional conflict, stress, painful thoughts, threatening information, and anxiety. You can be in denial about anything that makes you feel vulnerable or threatens your sense of control, such as illness, addiction, eating disorder, personal violence, financial problems, or relationship or conflicts. You can be in denial about something happening to you or to someone else. Now, remember, this is what I was talking about when I was saying you have to have courage, right? You have to be true to yourself, right? So, in a sense, denial can also make you go into depression, right? Look at these things, because when you feel vulnerable, remember when we were talking about people being meek because that's how they felt. Somebody taught them that if they spoke, they were going to get into trouble, or or they made them feel that they weren't important because they have a shy demeanor, right? Right? Something that threatens your sense of control, illness, addiction, eating disorder, personal violence, financial problems, right? And then again, it goes back to where I was telling you about society. Society, if you don't have a certain amount of money or something, they make society makes you feel low. So that's why I said some of these things you have to have a personal sense of structure and make sure that you run off your beliefs and understand that and understand that money doesn't make you and that society doesn't make you. Only you make you, right? So don't go off of none of these stereotypes, right? You may not have that $1 million job right now, but you might have it years from now. Then nobody just start off with that $1 million job unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, which means as if you were born into a wealthy family. Other than that, everybody had to strive for it and they made it some type of way. Yeah, some people are luckier than others, but they made that money. You understand what I'm saying? So some type of way, you know, some people are lucky. Some people hit what we call like gambling. You do. But if they didn't take that chance, they wouldn't have won. Now, just think about that philosophy. That is what it is, right? Right? So, so part of this denial and depression is, like I said, is part of the social structure. So a lot of people got to understand, like you got to reanalyze and find out what's important to you. Don't let society tell you what you're supposed to have. You deal with what you're content with and what you get, and then you take them steps forward. You might not have a meal ticket, but you're eating and got some good clothes in your back, and you look good when you go out, and you got a roof over your head. You understand what I'm saying? Don't look in the mirror and then be mad at yourself. Oh, you ain't got no Benz, but you got a car. Well, you ain't taking a bus or riding a bike. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it. It's people who ride the bus and got bikes, got homes, got houses, and everything. But that's all by choice. And the ones that do that don't have no shame. And this is what we're talking about. Okay. Now, this article is it goes into a little bit about more about, it says when denial could be helpful and harmful. So I'm gonna read these two to you. Then we're gonna go to, I think I'm gonna go to another article. Okay, so when denial can be helpful, refusing to face facts might seem unhealthy. Sometimes, through a short period of denial, can be helpful. Being in denial gives your mind the opportunity to unconsciously absorb shocking or distressing information at a pace that won't send you into a psychological tailspin. Okay. For example, after a traumatic event, you might need several days or weeks to process what's happened and come to grips with the challenge ahead. Imagine what might happen if you find a lump in your throat. You might feel a rush of fear and adrenaline as you imagine it's cancer. Okay. So you ignore the lump, hoping it'll go away on its own. But when the lump is still there and a week later, you consult your doctor. This type of denial is helpful response to stressful information. You initially denied the distressing problem, but as your mind absorbed the possibility, you began to approach the problem more rationally and took action by seeking help. Right? This is all basically what we were just talking about, led up to uh, in the conversation about this, and that's the whole thing about courage, right? So because you have to find admit that you have the problem and that you have to go look for help, right? So you see how I've set all these things up and how all these things mash and they go together, right? So this is the real reason why I did everything this way and it did the research, because you see how it follows up and everything. um this basically goes together, right? So you have to assess the situation, right? And it gives you time. And so instead of you straight panicking, so it's a form of no, it's not happening. Instead of you going crazy and you doing something unrational. So it actually helps you, gives your time, like I said, to absorb, right? To assess the situation is the way that I put it, right? And so you can problem solve, right? And then the other way was about the courage, how he said it. So now we're gonna read when denial can be harmful. Okay. What if you to had continued to be in denial about this lump? What if you never sought help? Right. See, there we go. Remember, you have to have that courage. If denial persists and prevents you from taking appropriate action, such as consulting your doctor, it's a harmful response. Considers these examples for unhealthy denial. A college student witnesses a violent shooting, but claims not to be affected by it. Right. The partner of an older man in the end stage of his life refuses to discuss health care directives and wills with him, insisting that he's getting better. Right, which we know these are all denials, right? So I hope you understand why it's switching in each one. So as I read these, think about what I'm saying. Someone periodically missing morning work meetings after drinking excessively the night before, but insist there is no problem because the work is still getting done, right? But they're missing all their meetings on time because they're drinking too much, right? A couple are ringing up so much credit card debt that they toss the bills aside because they can't bear to open them. Okay, they don't even want to look at them. But still racking it up. The parents of a teen with a drug addiction keep giving their child clothing money, and they know they don't see no new clothes, right? So I'm getting like like denial it can go a lot of ways, and just think about that. And just listening to this, you can see forms of depression just building up through the parent, to the kid because he's addicted, the parent because they know that their child is addicted, right? The college student, right? The person seeing the shooting, getting robbed. You know, it's and then they don't say nothing, right? They deny that, and then they go back and they start thinking about, oh, what type of person am I? Where the conscience comes in, right? Then that's a whole nother game, right? So situations such as these, denial might prevent you or your loved ones from getting help, such as medical treatment or counseling or dealing with their problems that can spiral out of control, all with the potential devastating long-term consequences. All right, that's what your boy Vaz Unique was just saying, and this is all correlated just with courage. Without me saying the denial and reading this, right? And I promise you, I didn't even read this one after I read it with you. I just all set everything up, and then I read this everything. I go. The only thing I do is write my script. Yes, I do write a script. You know, so it's my blueprint to follow. Okay. Yeah. So moving past denial, when faced with the overwhelming turns of events, it's okay to say, "I just can't think about all of this right now." You might need time to work through what's happened and adapt to new circumstances, right? So listen to the pros and cons every time I say something, right? But it's important to realize that denial should only be a temporary measure, right? Just like depression should only be temporary, because we all will always feel depressed. It's when what? When it extends for longer periods of time, which shouldn't really be no more than 2 weeks, right? Not to say that you stop thinking about things, but in that mode to where it makes you not want to do anything to have any enjoyment in life. Remember, that's what the main thing about depression stops you from wanting to have any type of enjoyment or fulfilling, and not want to do certain things, chill with your family, go outside with your loved ones, anything of pleasure. It brings you pleasure or happiness. Okay. So now, again, when faced with overwhelming turns of events, it is okay to say, "I just can't think about it, all of this right now." Remember, time to assess situation. You might need time to work through what's happened and adapt to the circumstances. Remember, all that stuff means is what I told you. Assess the situation, right? So you can do what? Attack the problem in a more rational manner. So, and I say that again to you guys so you can understand it's all a way of thinking. Remember, this is what we're trying to do. It's all about the way of thinking. It's all about being aware and being true. When all this says, all this is, again, is be aware, it's denial. Oh, you want to shake it off. Assess the situation. I come back for, okay, I got to be true to myself now. Now I'm true to myself. Okay, now what's the problem? Well, it's the courage. I now have to have the courage to face it and stand up. This is all basically what this is saying to you guys over and over again, this in different ways. Just listen. It isn't always easy to tell if denial is holding you back. The strength of denial can change over time, especially for someone with chronic illness. Some periods are linked to less defensiveness, and at other times, denial may be much stronger. If you feel stuck or someone you trust suggests that you're in denial, however, you might try these strategies. Honestly, examine what you fear. Yeah, be true to yourself and being aware of what you fear and have the courage to admit it. Boom. This is that one. Think about the potential negative consequences of not taking action. Allow yourself to express your fears and emotions. Be true to yourself. Try to identify irrational beliefs about your situation. Journal about your experiences. Keep track so you can see it to record. Why? Because you want to be aware. You want to see if this is recurring. You want to see where your problem is, right? So you're keeping track of what's going on, times and dates, how often, right? You see what I'm saying? So how being aware and being true to yourself and having the confidence, the ABCs, how all this, it helps you all mentally. Depression, denial. It's these are tools. You just have to understand and be true to who? Yourself. That's the main thing. Like, you're always gonna have a problem. How you gonna have a relationship and you can't even be true to yourself? Maybe that's why a lot of people out here are having problems in their relationship because they're not true to themselves. So how can they be true to somebody else? Just saying. I don't know. Something to think about. Philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Open up to a trusted friend or loved one, right? Remember, I told you you have to express that you have a problem, right? To stranger or lover. And when I mean by stranger, not like a stranger on the street, like a stranger, like a doctor is a stranger. Like you have to build a rapport with your doctor if you go there. But even then, when you go there, you don't go to the doctor a lot. Like they see hundreds of patients, so it's not like you have a rapport like he's your friend type of doctor like he used to be in the old days. Even these doctors and dentists and all these people, they're strangers to us. We don't know them. We don't have no rapport with them. We just trust them because they say that they doctors. They could be a con artist dressed up in a suit and just sitting in that position that day. We wouldn't even know it because as people every day, we just give people that trust because we walked into this office, we walked into this building, and assume since this is the building, it's the dentist, you're a dentist, you're a doctor, you have all your credentials. Right, so I just want people to understand how much trust you put people. So don't always you gotta don't 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 forget that they're human beings too. So we need to stop. I don't want to say don't listen to what your doctor says because I mean, to take you healthy. I mean, that's their profession. You're supposed to to listen to them. But always, that's what I always say: get a second opinion or listen, or because they can make mistakes too. Right. So so just do your research and things of that nature. You know, but listen to your doctor. But medicines, Western medicine. I'm just trying to keep this quick. Western medicine, you know, they they they're treating you, but it's better to do things natural. A lot of things you can do naturally. Like if you're really really ill, you need to listen to the doctor. I have ton of family members who had cancer, died of strokes and everything. My mom died of pancreatic cancer. Had a friend died of stomach cancer. My mother-in-law passed away from cancer. Like so, I understand. I've seen a lot of emotional stress and pain and strain. Then my father died. He had cancer and other problems too. He died from after trying to have surgery a year after my mom. So my parents died a year apart. You know what I'm saying? About 5 to 6. Father 5 years ago. My mother 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, and I was already having my own problems before that. And then I had to see my mom deteriorate years until that time. So, I have my share. So, like I said, this ain't somebody just up here whistling Dixie. Like I said, I do this because I've been in and I've done that, and it made me see how big of a problem that it is, and did my own research and found out that it's really clinically a disease, and that there's 300 million people out here, that's clinically depressed, and only 10% of them are being treated. So that's a big number, and that's why you got people out here shooting people and all that. And even the ones that shoot people, they got them too heavily medicated. Doing the medications that help you, that make you think about hurting yourself or others, which is to me is the dumbest side effect ever. And then to put somebody on a medication who's telling you, coming in here and telling you, I'm having thoughts about hurting myself or something, and you give them something that it might make you want to hurt yourself more or hurt somebody else. So, you know, that's why I said. So sometimes just think, because some people they believe too much in that medicine. So things in that nature, then you're supposed to be like, well, you know what? Because that's what I did. I was like, I don't want this. I'm gonna go do something natural. I'm gonna try something else. Because yeah, I got prescribed pills and all that. I tried that shit for a real quick hot second. I'm like, you know what? Nah, this ain't for the kid. Like I might take some pain medication or something like that, but this ain't for me. Let me go do something else. You understand? So, and I'm still here to this day. A little over 10 years fighting depression myself. You feel me? So life is lovely. I like breathing. So yeah, you should like breathing too. Every day that we wake up, it's a chance for us to change any problem that we're having. Every day you wake up is your chance to change your situation. You woke up. You breathing. You know, the shit. excuse my French, may be happening right now, but if you do things to change it, less of it is going to happen more over time. We just get pissed off because, oh, I'm getting older and this stuff just gonna be happening. I did this and I did that. Stuff should be going this way. Trust me, I know. I believe if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have no luck. But then I'm still breathing, and I know there was certain situations where things could have been a lot worse too. So I guess I got some type of luck. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we got to just sit back and be appreciative of what we do have sometimes, right? I just want y'all to understand that because, like I said, I know a big part of this depression is weight on your shoulders because of what society has molded into all of us of what you should have and what you should be, what type of car you should drive, what type of clothes you should wear, type of girl you have, how much you should weigh. Like these are things that are all constructed and subliminally embedded in our heads through the society and social structure where we live. Dig that. You understand? And what these televisions and these radios produce, or I should say promote as well. You understand that? Like the only things that should be bothering you are things in your that's really in your life that that we have control over. Certain things we don't have control over, and we just have to deal with it because that's the way that we are and in this land. Like you don't sit here and cry every day about paying taxes, right? Just being honest, we all pissed off, but we don't sit here and sit here and be depressed about it, right? So why get that pissed off about everything else we have no control over? It's like spilled milk. What are you gonna do with it? You gonna walk away and act like you gonna spill it, or you gonna clean it up, but make an action on it? You feel me? Just don't stand there looking at the milk. Don't let everybody see that you spilled the milk. Oh, I spilled the milk. Sitting there, so me and everybody, well, oh, you did it. Because then if you didn't do it, then you gonna look like you did it. So what you gonna do? You gonna walk by it, or you gonna clean it up? You gonna act like you didn't spill it, or you gonna clean it up? Right? Because that's the whole thing about mistakes. You're supposed to be learning from the mistakes so you don't make the same mistake twice. Right? It's supposed to be a learning situation. Right? I come from a sports background. My stepfather raised me since I was two, but he was a drill sergeant. So his model was to break you down and build you up. Some certain people, he was kind of like an ass with it, but his whole mentality was you should get pumped. Oh, what you a little baby? Oh, you gonna cry? Which I gotta go call your mama for you because you hurt yourself? That type of guy. That's my father. What are you stupid? You stupid or something? You don't know how to you don't know how to tie your shoe? You know what I'm saying? Like, but my father's 10 times worse as imagine. He was a military dude. Vietnam, Korea, Cuba. He lived a good long life. He died at 85 years old. So, um, but yeah. But yeah, so just be aware, right? So just be aware. The last part of this article is going to be with loved ones. It says when a loved one needs help moving beyond denial, you might find it frustrating when someone you love is in denial about an important issue. Okay, but before demanding that your loved one face the facts, take a step back. Try to determine if he or she just needs a little time to work through the issue. Okay. At the same time, let the person know that you're open to talking about the subject, even if it makes both of you uncomfortable. Ultimately, this might give your loved one the security he or she needs to move forward. Your loved one may even be relieved when you bring the issue up. Because maybe, like I said, maybe they got the courage, they want to talk about it, but they don't, they're afraid to make that move. Because remember, some people are timid, you know. So you can't be, remember how I was telling you with the kids, you can't be too forceful, but you can't be too far back, letting them go crazy. You got to be balanced, the yin and the yang, like the the culture, Far East, Middle Eastern culture there. That's why I love some of the philosophy and everything. Is like life is about balance, the yin and the yang. That it's about balance. You can't have night without day. You can't have left without right. You can't have good without evil. Right? Life without death. These names give the opposite meaning, and it has substance. If your loved one is in denial about a serious health issues such as depression, cancer, or an addiction, broaching the issue might be especially difficult. Listen and offer your support. Don't try to force someone to seek treatment, which can lead to angry confrontations. Offer to meet together with a doctor or mental health provider. Remember, because it takes courage, and you can't. And then when you talk people down, when somebody is really explaining to you their problems, sometimes like I said, sometimes we really got to analyze and think before we speak, because like sometimes we don't take things seriously. People, you know, don't express themselves the way that we're used to. Some people may be playing and they look hella serious. You don't feel that they playing, you take it serious, or vice versa, right? So, but we have to step back and understand how we respond, because somebody at some point could be really expressing themselves, and we might not be really paying attention to that and say something to where they might not want to open up their selves ever again, and they just close up. If you catch my drift, right, and never come out that shell, right? If you catch my drift, right? So now, and the reason why I say this is because it's a nice lead into the other thing is basically is that a lot of this has to do with what, self-confidence, and a lot of this deals with affects our kids, and the youth, self-confidence and loneliness. Okay, so I wouldn't look for a couple of things on basically, methods of tips to improve your self-confidence, right? Because that's a lot of things. Now, loneliness, like I said, I tried to do the loneliness. I gave you a couple of tips on the loneliness. Um, I think if you guys didn't watch the other shows, you can catch me on uh let's see, the other shows. You can catch the other shows on my Facebook right now. And also I'm gonna post them on my YouTube page, because my YouTube, I have a portfolio on my own page, but the files are too long for me to do it in video, so I don't know if it's gonna let me do it in audio. So I'm still working everything out right now. But you can go to my YouTube, which is youtube.com/, capital B, capital D, capital E, Studios, lowercase, right? So it's youtube.com/, capital B, capital D, capital E, Studios, all lowercase. And make sure you do it exactly like that, because it'll take you to a drawer, I believe, a guy who does drawings. So that's free plug for him, because if you type it in Rogue, it's gonna take you there anyway. So yeah. So um let me make sure. Let me check my notes. So I'm doing real quick right here. Check my notes to make sure I covered everything that I wanted to check for you guys. Uh so yeah. So we're gonna check the self-esteem and these top tips. Be nice to yourself. Okay. So they say be nice to yourself. I'm gonna overview some of these things. And again, this is from, I'm sorry, reachout.com. Okay. REACHOUT.com. Reachout.com. Okay. And it says the first one is be nice to yourself. Okay. Be nice to yourself. You do you, right? Basically, comparing yourself to other people, I'll read this one, is a surefire way to start feeling crummy, right? Which, who does that? Society. Society makes you judge yourself to other people. Okay. Try to focus on your own goals and achievements rather than measuring them against someone else. Nobody needs that kind of pressure, right? It's what I just said and what I just said to you guys. So I guess I'll read part of this paragraph to the first one. Be nice to yourself, but I didn't think I had to go over that one, but I'll still go over that one. That little voice that tells you you're killing it is way more powerful than you might think. Make an effort to be kind to yourself. And if you do slip up, try to challenge any negative thoughts. A good rule of thumb is to speak to yourself in the same way that you speak to your mates. This can be really hard at first, but practice makes perfect. If you want a few pointers, it says check out our tips for talking to yourself. Now, this is at reachout.com. So if you want to come back and check that out, that's reachout.com. 3 is get moving, right? Another one that I've already pointed out, exercise is a great way to increase motivation, practice setting goals, and build confidence. Hey, look, we're knocking it out the park. Breaking your sweat also cues the body to release endorphins, the feel good hormones. Okay. 4, nobody's perfect. Always strive to be the best version of yourself. I'm sorry about that, meaning the same thing. But it's also important to accept that perfection is an unrealistic goal. True. Remember what we had in the first one? It says, remember when I told you there's no such thing as perfect? There's only perfection to the individual. You only can, perfection is only to the individual, like beauty is only into the eye of the beholder, right? So on a hot day, I might want a fresh cold glass of lemonade. And you might want that fresh cold glass of Coke. He might want a Sprite. He want a Mountain Dew. You feel me? So everybody's thoughts of perfection are way different than the other person's. So therefore, there's really no such thing as perfection unless you're talking about perfection to the individual. Focus on what you can change. Okay, I shouldn't have to explain that. Do what makes you happy. I shouldn't have to explain that. Remember what I told you guys in the first one? This all goes back to what the kid was talking about in the previous shows. You have to live to be happy. If you're not living to make yourself happy, then you're not living. You're a slave to the system. You're a slave to society. You're only thinking about waking up to go to work and then pay the bills. You are an organic robot. You are a zombie already here. You are already dumb, deaf, and blind if that's how you live your life. You should be living your life every day to be happy. Every move that you make, you should be trying to be happy, make your wife happy, your family happy, your kids happy, your dog happy. Happiness. Because when you make yourself better, you make things better around you. When you shine and become the sun, everything in your orbit shines with you. They feed off your heat like we feed off the sun. It helps them grow like the sun helps us grow. You dig that? Men sharpen men, steel sharpen steel. Each one teach one. Right? Surround yourself with a supportive squad. Right? Everybody's seen that guy on what is it, on Instagram and YouTube right now. He says, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." The guy said, "What?" He said, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." You wonder why you're not succeeded because you're hanging around people that are effed up. And that's cold blooded because it's like he said, you can't judge people. People come from hard times. But what he means is like my dad just say that to me all the time. Like, y'all heard it. Birds of a feather flock together. Be careful around the people who you hang with. You'll be guilty by association. Yada 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 yada. All these things all mean the same thing. Be careful. My dad always dress good because when you dress good, that reflects on you, and people just when you reflect good and you look good, business wants to come your way. People like, hey, let me talk to this guy. So he says, be careful how you look and when you go around certain people, because they either think that are this way or think you're to the left way. You're either going to the right or to the left. Who is this guy, or is he on the straight and narrow? You understand? It says, so those quick 10 tips, dude, are very well and very indeed true tips. Things that we have already talked about, that I've already talked about, and we gave them tips. Okay, we got another one. It's called building confidence. You guys can go to psychologytoday.com. Again, that's psychologytoday.com. psychologytoday.com. And this is by, you can go read the article by Neil Burton, MD. And he has a whole thing of building confidence and self-esteem. 17 simple suggestions for building confidence and self-esteem. Okay. He has his key points. He says make two lists, one of your strengths and one of your achievements. Think positive about yourself. Right? Show you how all these same. The reason why I give you different ones because I gave you one from a side, and then this one is like from a doctor, like so you can all see how pretty much they all come around and say the same thing, even off my research. You understand what I'm saying? They all go together, and so you can understand that this is no BS, and this is what people are really out here doing. Pay special attention to your personal hygiene. Okay. So take a shower, brush your hair, trim your nails, and so on. Okay. I've heard that one too, right? Because everybody's heard cleanliness is next to what? Godliness. If you have a cluttered house, you have a cluttered mind. Okay. Wear clean clothes that make you feel good about yourself, right? Not what other people think, but that would make you feel good about yourself, right? Dig it. Eat good food is eat good food as part of a healthy, balanced diet, right? Because you are what you eat if you feel sluggish or whatever. But again, what I said, you got to have a healthy mind and a healthy body. We have to exercise both, right? Exercise regularly, right? These are all the things that we're saying. And if you notice, you guys, again, this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. If you really pay attention to it, it's a lifestyle. You're giving yourself and you're training yourself. We are training, and all these things are doing what? Training our mind and our body. If you listen to all these things that we're talking about, they're here to train your mind and your body. Ensure that you get enough sleep, reduce your stress levels, make your living space clean, comfortable, and attractive. Have some flavor, some style, some pictures on the wall. Stimulates the brain. That's what art does, right? Make your living space clean, comfortable, and attractive. I said that again. I like that one. Do more of the things that you enjoy. Be happy. Make yourself happy. Do happy things. Get artistic. Activities like poetry, music, and dance, among many others, enable you to express and explore your emotions, interact positively with others, and reduce your levels of stress. That's why I wanted to read this one, people, because this is one of the ones that I like, because it's what someone the fat boy was talking about. And that's another thing. See, I make jokes about weight. Sometimes you got to have a thick neck. You understand? Right? Even though somebody, he might say that's not talking good about yourself, but sometimes I poke fun at myself. Sometimes it makes me be aware that, hey, I need to watch myself. Let's go do that extra walk. Let's not eat that Twinkie today. And that's like, that's like, okay, I don't eat Twinkies and shit like that. But, I just wanted to say that, right? 12, set yourself a challenge that you can realistically complete. All right? Psychology of play. Setting goals for yourself. And then when you accomplish it, you feel good about yourself because it's something that you set out to do and you accomplish it. Do some things that you have been putting off. Let me try something different. Let me try something new. Be nice to people and do nice things for them. Get others on board. Yeah, right? Spend more time with those who you hold near. Avoid people and places that treat you badly or make you feel bad about yourself. Leave them alone. We're not talking about people that are stressing your ego, but we just talking about you don't got to be king with people who are talking down on you and looking down on you and feel like they disrespecting you every 24 seconds, or you feel like they give you the vibe that they don't want you around, right? If you were people who want you around, you should feel the vibe and the energy of wanting them to be around. We all feel that vibe. You can all read a room, right? So so that's pretty much today. I got a couple of ones here, a couple of more sites you can go for. One for kids, it's called childline.org.uk. childline.org.uk. And it's another tips for kids and advice and things of that nature for you guys to to use. It's another one called Zen Habits, ZenHabits.net. Okay, 25 killer actions to boost your self confidence. Okay. Which other one? I think I got another one for you guys. Oh no, well no, that's pretty. I got the cover. I got the cover. Pretty much. Oh yeah, what's this one right here? I got another one for you. It's the Mayo Clinic again. The Mayo Clinic also has one. MayoClinic.org has one of self-esteem. That was the one that I got confused with my with the denial paper because it was the same website. So um, that's a lot for you guys to study on if you want more tips on how to improve your self-esteem. You can just Google it. And then we also have for loneliness. I have some things I wanted to get you guys for loneliness. 15 things to do if you're feeling lonely. Um, I always say I had started talking about something else. Like it's a couple of things, dude. Like it's dogs. There's like I said, single retreats, mixers, social clubs, whether you golf, ride motorcycles, cards, so on, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Hiking, camping. You have to get involved if you really want to meet people. Just don't go to bars, okay? Because bars got, like I said, certain intentions of, people just trying to get, excuse my French, just laid. So when you have that intent, that's the intent that it has. If you're going with somebody that you're trying to have some type of experience with, go out places, you know, and get a friend so you don't feel like you going by yourself. Your girlfriend and you do take one of your partners and y'all go single friends. Don't get your married friends in trouble, but you go to these events. Not just bars like I'm saying, like these single mixers. Like it's one called single events event mixers right here in the Bay Area, and they do like camper trips, cruises, things of that nature, and they're basically like a singles cruise. Everybody's single and they go out and they do events, and like I said, and then whatever hobby that you like, music, poetry, jazz clubs, go to those type of mixers because then you meet people who like what you like. You know what I'm saying? You like doing poetry, go to poetry slams and, little mixers and things of that nature where you meet all these people who are doing poetry and they're sitting and listening to poetry. Like, if you want to find somebody who likes the things that you like to do, you have to go to the things that you like to do, right? You talk to the people who are there. You understand? You catch my drift, right? So that's how you do it, And like I said, like the people who are elders and they're usually in the homes, they have all these senior programs, which we talked about in the last programs. Um, but I wanted to retouch and reiterate on that a little bit because I said that just to go look at the last ones, but I wanted to say a couple. But um, but I wanted to touch bases on people who being sick. 'Cause like I said, my mom had cancer, and then people who just passed away and everything. Stay strong, keep positive, keep hope. But the same thing to you guys. It really adds right now. Spend as much time with your loved ones as you can. What your illness allows you to do. Spend time with your loved ones. Use all that good energy while you can. You know, to make good moments. Take some pictures so they can remember you while you're still in your healthy stages. If you're not gonna get better and you're only gonna get worse. So these are the things. Like I said, we have to be true, right? So once we understand what's happening, and because like my mom had got, my mom and my mother-in-law are two of the strongest women I ever seen. Because I was like, if somebody would told me that I had stage 4 cancer and you gave me a time limit, I might go crazy. I'm one of the people who might not even want to go to the doctor. I remember Eddie Griffin told a joke: if I'm sick, I just want to walk down the street and just die. I just want to walk down the street and just, I said, you tell me that I might walk around and just start slapping shit out of everybody who I hate. It's like, what you gonna do? I'm gone. you know, but I respect my mom, my mother-in-law, and my fathers. They they broke down, until they self cried, but they had dignity and they had pride, and they showed me that you have to have your faith, and whatever that faith may be, a higher power, uh, you know, entity, a source, or just faith in the energy and just in life, you know, and acceptance. Um, I'm gonna read just a little bit before I go. This is it. I'm gonna go a little bit over because it's my hour. That's what I was actually looking at. I was contemplating. But I'm going to read this last one since I already had this prep for you. 15 things to do if you're feeling lonely, right? And then I'll give you guys a couple of these websites that I have up here. But this one is from mentalhealth.org.uk. That's mentalhealth.org.uk. 15 things to do if you're feeling lonely. And this was written uh, the 11th of February, 2021. Okay. All right, I'm just going to read the headers. I might read a couple of these sentences. It says, you are connected to the world. As right now, you are connected to the world. It says you are sharing the experience of the loneliness with young people all around the world. Remember that loneliness is a universal experience, a part of being human. It is normal because sometimes we have to be alone. Sometimes you have to do things on your own. Sometimes some people can only show you the way and you must walk to the door yourself. You remember that philosophy? That's real. Some things you have to do on your own, and it builds character. Because sometimes you have to be alone. Sometimes you have to do that pilgrimage, right? And it says you're in control. You can use the power within yourself to make positive changes to your life. You could do this by relaxing, reflecting, or doing a new hobby. We believe in you. You can take action, right? It's basically the things that we've already talked about. You can embrace your creativity. Basically, things we've already talked about. You are cared for. We care about you, as do support services, friends, and family. Right? Remember when I said the very first show, you are never alone. You're only alone if you don't do what? If you don't look for help yourself. You deserve quality relationships. Your hobbies and interests are important. You can express your emotions in a healthy way. Right? What? Right? You get upset? Go work out. Go use that kind of energy. Right? It's like so, but like I don't even know if I should keep reading this for you guys. And so I hope I'm making you guys smile a little bit. It says you can express your emotions in a healthy way. You can get curious about guilt and shame. You are unique. You are you. You are a snowflake. We're all snowflakes. We're all different in some form of way or fashion. You are allowed to open up. It's okay to talk to your friends and your family and say that you have a problem, you need help, or I just want somebody to talk to because I don't want to talk to myself. That's why I like animals. I talk to my dog. My dog is my best friend, and my mom gave me that dog. So that was one of the last gifts she gave me before a year before she passed away, or 2 years before she passed away. So that's my dude. That's my guy. You feel what I'm saying? So we talk and we chop it up like he a human being. Ain't that right, Drew? Woo! Heard that? It says you can find your community by joining a group, whether based on hobby, religion, spiritual, or interest, can help you find your tribe. Right? Right? That's what I just was telling you. You have to go find little stuff. But this is in church. If you're in a church, you can go to church. If you're spiritual, you sing, soccer, sports, football, motorcycle club, golf, like whatever your hobby is, you can find a club. Poetry slam, you deserve to treat yourself. Treat yourself, people. Don't wait for somebody to treat it for you. Don't wait for your birthday for something good to happen. Remember, live to be happy, enjoy, explore, love life. We're here for a short period of time. We're not here to work and pay bills. We're just born into that society because that's the way this society is built. We're really born to learn and explore and learn and pass that on to the next generation so they can adapt and evolve. And they do the same on and therefore. Right? And the last one, we are grateful for to you. Like there are more people who admire you and are happy that you're here. And then if everybody is gone, trust me, like they said, there are services and people who care about you. It's like it's people who care about animals. It's people who really care about other people. And those people are in those jobs. As I said, you have to go out there and you have to look for that help. You can't be ashamed to look for help, people. So here goes one that I used before for samhsa.gov. Again, that's samhsa.gov. I used them for one of the articles for depression, and it stands for Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, but which is the counseling services, and they have the hotlines and everything of that nature. Right. Here's another one. It's called verywellmind.com, and it's just spelled just like that. Very, Very, well, WELLMIND.com. 9 ways to cope with loneliness. So, like I said, people, it's a lot of help, a lot of things out here. And if, like I said, again, you can find these just how I do. You can Google how to cope with loneliness, how to cope with depression, hotlines. Um, so just want you to understand, people, just to be aware. Okay, I appreciate you. For the ones who've really been following me from A, B to C, I really, really appreciate you. Because I haven't been figured out how to do it live yet, but I have been getting a good response when I post them on Facebook. I told you guys right now, I'm just looking for, trying to figure out what site that I'm gonna go to. I'm trying to find a site that I can link it up with my portfolio, and my portfolio is JavasMiddleton.com. That's JavasMiddleton.com. All right, and you can see my portfolio. See what I do. You can see my photography, my graphics design. I might start putting audio on there. You can go see my videos that I'm doing, my movies, the movies that I edited, the interviews, because that's what I do. I got my degree in digital cinematography, so I got a couple of projects in the works. So if you're into acting or things of that nature, I need some extras. If you're into modeling, I do photography. If you're somebody who just wants to promote themselves of what they're doing, entrepreneurship, music, artwork, or whatever, DM me. Javaz, you can DM me in a Facebook. You can hit me on Instagram at BDE Studios _Vaz Unique. Yeah. And again, man, this has been another show, Let's Talk. I'm your host, Vaz Unique. Appreciate